Yes.
Not exposing them.
Yeah.
Don't make them world readers. Test. You need to test all the time. You always have to test yourself, test your systems, test your sites, because threats are changing. So it's up to you to protect. But yeah, and everyone makes mistakes. We're human, and that's why things get hacked. But yeah. So looks like our internet is a bit slow. Server down.
Xua qua chân luôn á, anh là how xua. Đây là cái hack chân má hay chơi to với đây sớm mai ngày nào cái hack ai như vui. Mình cứ xua qua để thi ca pia rồi thương mấy nhà mấy ca pia mọi cái Google tới bị khơi nhà phá cái này. Vì vua dương nó kia nó sao là PHP xe ơi, hay còn phi phá mà lên không nè. Đặt quay nhật khơi. Chân xua qua đó thương mấy bật bia. Ca pia folder nó dòng mấy. Xua dân chất.
Yeah, the internet. This is the DAI internet. I just connected to my Wi-Fi. Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, this is mine now. All right. Let's see if we can find one more example here that's useful. Sensitive directories. Okay, here's a good one. AWS stats data. You know, a lot of people are moving to the cloud, whether it's Google Cloud or Amazon AWS EC2. Lots of misconfigured databases, web applications, you know, with sensitive sensitive directories exposed on these cloud systems. Here's a good example. Now, this is not super risky stuff, but it does expose information about your internal system. So this is basically log files, and you can see tons of different servers that are exposing their internal logs to the internet. And that's a problem because attackers will look for misconfigurations or any other type of internal error that your system might have, and use that to try and exploit or deface or whatever their goal is. So again, as I mentioned before in that previous example, I didn't just click this link because that would take me directly to the affected site, and I would be crossing a boundary, an ethical boundary. So what you can do in this case is look at Google's cached version of the site. And again, this is public information. It's cached by Google, and this is the more responsible way to look at that data versus going directly to the site. Okay, so here you can see, what is this? The log files for this particular server. And we have to take our time going through it to see if we got anything interesting or sensitive. But again, it gives you an idea of how this works. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, Shodan. This is one of my favorite reconnaissance tools. As I mentioned before, Shodan scrapes the internet all the time, 24 hours a day, gathering information about various online devices. It's incredibly powerful, it's incredibly scary, and I think a lot of people don't realize just how exposed they are until they find their devices or their systems in Shodan's database. So the website is https://shodan.io, and let's have a look at what we can find with Shodan. Okay, so similar to Google Doors, Shodan lets you use search operators to narrow your search. You can search based on country, and you basically use a country code, so KH or TH or VN or US. You can search by city. You can search by net blocks. Here's an example of a Digi net block. This will basically give you all connected devices that Shodan has found on that net block. You can search for ports. So, you know, 5900 BNC. What is this used for? BNC. Does anyone know? Yeah, what do you guys use BNC for on port 5900?
BNC is like remote RAM that we specify the port that forward from the 25 router go into the
It's like a remote access program. It's like remote desktop for Windows, but it's an open source version. So you can search for OS, Windows 7, Server 2008, Windows XP, Linux, and you can also search for products. And these aren't all of the operators, these are just some that are commonly used. So if we entered product TP-Link, that would tell us all of the TP-Link devices that Shodan has scraped. To get the most out of Shodan, we need to create an account. If you just use the public site, you can't use these specific operators, and you only get one page of results. So if you want to use it, it's free. You can just register for a free account. And you get the most out of it when you start combining operators. So in this example, we've got country page, port 161. So that's all SNMP-enabled devices that are exposed to the internet in Cambodia. And why is, if anyone's in networking here, why is SNMP potentially dangerous from a defensive perspective? What could SNMP possibly give to an attacker?
I have no idea, but like my experience in S&P version 2, we just like get data no write. We just like read from the inside to the, we have the monitoring server, and so we can get the information from our device.
Different nodes.
Yeah, but it's just right. But in S&P version 3, that is that they have association that you can read and write from outside to inside.
Exactly. And so, like you said it at the beginning, an attacker could basically enumerate your network. They can get an idea of what ranges, what internal ranges are used in your system. Sometimes people configure SNMP with host names. They get very verbose, as we've seen before, and it can be quite dangerous. So they can, although the attacker is just on the internet, they can potentially get an idea of how your internal systems look through exploiting a misconfigured device with SNMP enabled. So in the second example, we're just searching for a keyword, Cisco, and a net block of 111.92.240/22. And that's basically going to find all Cisco devices that are on that specific net block, or anything that has the word Cisco in its host name. So let's take a look at Shodan and actually see how this works. And as I said, it's better if you have an account because you can get the most out of Shodan and you can actually use the search operators. So I'm logged in here. Okay. So let's just take a look with a simple one. We'll start off with country page. So this is going to show us all connected devices that Shodan has scraped recently in Cambodia. On the left side, you can see here that it has found a total of 77,707 online devices. That's a huge number. That's just for Cambodia. There are billions of online devices in the world, but this is very specific here. So you can see top cities, 16,000 devices in Phnom Penh. Some things are mislabeled for some reason. I'm not sure exactly what tool means. Maybe tool Tumpung, maybe tool Berg, I don't know. This could be Bung Ping Pong, but again, I don't know. It tells you top services. So what do you think these devices are here? Yeah, these are web servers. They could be routers with web interfaces enabled. Anything that's running on HTTP, port 80 or 8080. So you've got 6,000 FTP devices, 4,866 MySQL instances exposed. Very interesting. SMTP, you've got 4,000 SSL servers, 3,966. Your top organizations. Organizations are ISPs generally. And your top operating systems, including, wow, 9 Windows XP. That's not good. Generally, you don't want to expose Windows XP to anything, your internal network or your over to the internet. In our experience, we've also seen a lot of XP boxes that are configured as honeypots because it's just something you don't expose to the internet. So companies do it just to catch attackers who might be probing their network. And you can see here the top products, Apache Web Server, Database, SMTP Server, FreeBSD, FTP, that's good. And then a lot of MikroTik devices. Okay, so let's try some more specific searches. What would you guys like to search for? What's your favorite port? Port 22? Okay, so what's port 22 used for? SSH, exactly. Cool, so we found 2,167 devices with SSH enabled. And so these are the results. Again, just like with Google, you need to be careful. If you click on an IP that takes you directly to a device that's noisy and you're going to be logged on the owner of that device's end, so whether it's a firewall, a web server, your IP is going to show up. People will know that you're trying to probe them. In this case, you can see when I hover at the bottom of the screen, it says host 103.239.54. We can click safely because this is just taking us to another showdown page. In here, it's telling us all of the ports that are open on this particular IP. It tells us the ISP and it tells us the ports. So, oh, interesting. Okay, I think we know what this might be. Maybe not. Cool. So we know we've got a MikroTik device with Telnet open also. There's a web port, and this gives you a link. You can connect directly to it. That will probably take you to the MikroTik. We're not going to do it, but that's probably what it's doing. And then, yeah, we've got SSH enabled here. Very verbose. So again, yeah, this is just one example, but they've basically done the port scanning for you. They've done the reconnaissance. They've told you what's open already. So an attacker now knows, without even touching your infrastructure, that you've got all these ports open and potential areas to focus. So let's look at some of the other operators that I mentioned here. Let's see if we can copy this one. 111.92, nothing of this. So we do Cisco. Okay, so that's only returned 2 results, but it's still interesting. Within this DigiNet block, we now know that we've got 2 Cisco devices, and we know these are Cisco based on the host name. So we can see what else is open here. Okay, just port 22. So this could be one of the ISP's routers. It could be some critical component of their infrastructure. Quite interesting. Let's see what else Let's also go back here and just see what FTP servers are open. It's interesting. And we're going to check those Windows XP also because I'm curious. Okay, so here, these are probably primarily websites that also have FTP open. They could also just be dedicated FTP servers for companies. Sometimes you get the host name like this. Okay, again, so we've got FTP, we've got an SMTP mail server, port 80, that could be the website itself, and what's this one? 3306? Almost.
Almost like that.
Yeah, that's right, MySQL. So, how would you protect yourself from a scanner like Shodan? in a case like this, say you're this company, fix a ports exposed, you just have to restrict as much as possible. You have to know what's there, know that you have MySQL exposed, do something about it, restrict it. Yeah. Okay, let's just take a look at one more thing. So I want to see which Windows XP boxes are connected. Okay, Windows XP 9. Yes, we don't know. Not sure what these are. These could, again, be honeypots. It's possible. That's the only reason I would ever put Windows XP on the internet. This one appears to be a mail server, but I'm not so sure about that. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Any questions on Showdown?
Yes,
Sorry if I'm talking too fast also, if I'm not being clear, please tell me.
Yes.
I am wondering how the socket work to get the information or the device.